If being dumb was illegal, these criminals would get life sentences. And this guy is Exhibit A, with about 20 guns aimed at you. There's not many worse times to get confused over instructions.
I don't think that he understands English.
That awkward moment when there's someone still in the closed shop you're trying to rob? It's so inconvenient when that happens. If wearing a pair of underpants on your head in normal circumstances wasn't shameful enough, thinking they function as an identity-concealing mask is top tier. Of all the places he could have robbed, he chose a jiu-jitsu academy? Someone needs to pick their opponents better, because that was always a losing fight. Worst case scenario for a car thief is usually being arrested, or getting saran wrapped to a telephone pole. He thought he was in his Joker era, but really, breaking out dance moves when police close in is probably the best way to get tased.
Suspect doing some breakdancing here in the middle of the roadway, and he is definitely playing games with officers now, putting on quite a show.
On a daily commute, you can't predict what the road will serve up to you on any given day. But a random guy with a bucket on his head? That must be a first. Note to self. When you're a criminal on the loose in Russia, trying to outrun the cops may just lead to the whole squad coming out to deal with you. If you want to get away with stealing, having an escape plan and getting as far as possible from the scene of the crime is crucial. But as it turns out, his getaway was a lot closer than usual. These jewelry thieves thought that being armed with sledgehammers made them unstoppable. But their whole plot failed to withstand one thing: a 71-year-old lady with a handbag. Age prevailed over youth in this battle, which goes to show that you're never too old to be Batman. Oh yes, not just filming yourself being chased by the feds, but also posting it online so everyone knows it's you. Who'd have thought the undoing of so many criminals would be the door? I don't know what's dumber, the 1.2 million worth of gold flakes that was left unguarded, or the guy who really thought he could get away with stealing it. Sometimes quick judgments have to be made, and when his employee was on the other end of a pointed gun, the manager did just that. Some people sleep, while others enter the shadow realm when they get some shut-eye. You can't make an omelet without cracking a few eggs, and sometimes you can't rob a place without breaking a few doors down. They couldn't even get that far, though. How many idiots does it take to steal a safe? Apparently 7 wasn't enough. We can all do things we regret when we're angry, but throwing down a rare 17th century clock to the ground is a step too far. Don't forget to say cheese! However many people this cop expected to find smuggled in his vehicle, I'd be willing to bet at least 3 times as many actually got out. Who knew getting on the ground could be this difficult? After being caught by the police, he had a tough time complying, simply because his jeans had other ideas. But that's nothing on the next guy. His pants weren't leaving the scene of the crime, forcing a wardrobe change on the run. This is what it looks like when Plan A fails and Plan B just doesn't exist.
And she starts showing him a few rings, and while she's doing that, he takes one of the rings and looks at it and says to her, "Thank you very much," and then goes to run out the door.
After attempting to steal a $3,200 diamond ring and being locked in, he swallowed it. Even if he got out, that marriage proposal was gonna be crappy. Not every door opens you up to opportunities, but sometimes quitting while you're ahead just means running away before you get caught. This is what happens when a group of idiots stay up all night watching heist films. Turns out it's never as simple as get the money and run, but it took setting off every alarm and making as much noise as possible for them to realize that. Some people are just light sleepers. He took that chance and paid the price. He thought his sneak level was 100, but it was more like 10. It's fascinating to see how much slower some people's brains work. His thought processes lagged a bit too long when it came to a solution for getting that bike out. The hope was that doing a snake impression would keep him from being spotted. The reality was that just walking into the house would have had the same result. The maskless menace attempted to rob a cash register armed to the teeth with his fingers? He just gave handgun a whole new meaning. Even if this guy gets home with that stolen mattress, he'll be having nightmares on it after that embarrassment. You could do a PowerPoint on the mistakes this guy made. See-through mask, check. Handprints on the glass, check. And just in case the police needed any more help identifying him, he made sure to give the camera a close-up of his tattoo. They thought of everything, except the existence of security cameras, which is kinda important when it comes to illegally getting in anywhere. Some things in life are just not worth fighting for, like one bottle of Pepsi that you tried to steal from a multi-pack. If it comes to having to use a fire extinguisher to try to break down a door, things have definitely gone too far. They ticked the going in heavy box, not so much the getting away box though. After using their car as a battering ram, having it get stuck really put a spanner in the works. In this ATM heist, the biggest enemy turned out to be the double doors. Neither of the two thought maybe, hold it open? But at least they got further than this guy. After showing his face to all the cameras, he decided to cover it up. Then he tried, he failed, he ran, then fell, and ran again. Nice. If all robbers were this dumb, I'm not saying crime rates would drop, but successful crimes certainly would. Of all the antiques in this shop, the level of stupidity on display was the rarest thing on view. After showing his face to the camera, he quickly pulled the cover back. You know, just in the off chance that security footage can't be rewinded. If his identity wasn't completely obvious, he made sure to look right down the lens. What is it with thieves these days? It's like they don't even try anymore. If there was a prison escape handbook, I'd say the first entry would be not to make a break for it when you're wearing flip-flops. Drunk people often think they're invincible, but he finally met his ultimate match. And after a long wrestle, there was a clear winner. There's no rules when it comes to being robbed. And when this lady was met by a knife-wielding attacker who wanted her laptop, she just gave it back. I wonder what he planned to do with the bowl, though. This next guy gave the cop an extra job when he wasn't even in trouble to begin with.
Why is he running? He doesn't even have a warrant. No warrant, Robert!
And not so often do cops have to pursue a suspect to tell them they're not under arrest.
Dude, you just messed up, dude. I'm sorry. You know what I was going to do? I was going to have you drive her car. Because you got a valid license, bro.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. Are you not David Roberts?
Yes, I am, but I ain't got a driver's license.
Yeah, you do.
And all this just because his intrusive thoughts got the better of him.
Drop it. Bet that's meth, ain't it? How stupid, dude. How stupid. Dude, I was gonna let you drive the car.
But if you think running is the most obvious admission of guilt, hold that thought.
I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court...
It was at this moment that his sentence was extended by a few decades. In a world of sledgehammers, baseball bats, and crowbars, this guy took things back to the Stone Age when he used a rock as his tool of theft. By the way, that's a jewelry store with reinforced glass.
This man has an enemy that never sleeps, that never backs down. But no matter how many times he fails, no matter what other forces try to stop him, he'll fight back till the end of time.
And that's how you do a masterclass in spawn trapping. When trying to escape from jail, landing in the cop's office is probably the worst possible thing that can happen. The prisoner thinking he could get away with strolling out of a police van in broad daylight was just as dumb as the guards forgetting to lock the doors. The best thieves need excellent sleight of hand skills to get things right. She had sleight of thigh. And it looks like this next guy watched her technique. He just picked a rather tricky thing to conceal. Either this guy didn't read the guard dog signs, or they just wanted to play fetch. Unfortunately for him, he was the ball. And now, the slowest police chase of all time. Sometimes there just isn't a supercar available for you to steal in GTA, and you have to settle for what's nearest. But when it comes to getaway cars, this is even worse. Sure, they ticked one of the boxes, being able to drive their heist weapon to the scene. But after using this monster to steal 2 bicycles in the noisiest way possible, they had no chance of getting away. A well-structured plan can go a long way, and clearly there wasn't much of that going on here. What's worse than everyone witnessing your crime? Not leaving with anything. If you're trapped somewhere and need to call for help, what better place to be than a phone store? But it's not so helpful when it's the middle of the night and you're only there to rob the place. There are acceptable times for showboating, just maybe not at your court sentencing.
Well, how much would you say your jewelry is worth? It's not a joke.
You just made me laugh. I apologize.
It's all right. How much is your jewelry worth?
It's worth a lot of money.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
Come back, ma'am. Come back. Count one would be 10,000.
Are you serious?
I am serious. Adios.
This man's crime came to a crashing end because of the most unexpected thing, his thirst. Kids, if you want to be rebellious, just remember, cameras exist and actions have consequences. Karma doesn't have an age limit, and that homeowner made sure justice was served. I've heard of paper hands and stock trading, but it looks like this thief sold himself out much too early when his money took flight. Some people just aren't built for a life of crime. Let's just hope this moment of self-realization led them to going to a job center. Even when it felt like he was in a horror film surrounded by zombies, this driver remembered the most important thing. He was the one in the big truck. And now we get back to the crossover world of breaking and entering mixed with slapstick. When trying to capture the spirit of Christmas, this guy ended up slipping right into Santa's naughty list. That moment when you get caught stealing shoes on a balcony, their footwear modeling activities had an abrupt ending. Hide your kids, hide your wife, and your outdoor plants, because Granny is coming. Oh look, a gun and money and the police. Busted! This heist was far from on the money. No matter how heavy you go in, you gotta remember ATMs are heavy too, and harder to open than they look. All they got in the end was some major car repairs needed. And that's how you prevent carjacking. Who knew you could just drive away? Some people just don't have the IQ to get a real job, and there's those too dumb to be a criminal. Make better choices than them. Start by hitting that like and subscribe button. See ya!